Let's do it. Main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 115. Here we go.
Let's get it on.
Round 1. Fight.
In the bottom left side, if he wins this series, he walks away with $200 and Blink Templar will give him extra, and I will match whatever Blink Templar decides to give him extra. That's the deal we just made. It is the man who made it to the grand finals of the Monday Night Weekly last Monday after beating Beyond, after beating Classic, after beating Hero in the upper bracket. What a run that was. Can he repeat that magic on the Friday evening? This is the Russian 19-year-old youngster, Shameless. And in the top right side, the man who blessed all the Starcraft streams, with all the Starcraft fans with a little stream this afternoon. It is the Finnish phenom himself, the great Jonas Utala, Serral. That's very pretty, Psychons. I've never seen that. What did you just do? I have never seen this. You have showed me something on Twitch that I've never seen before, but that looks beautiful. So game 1, Washout, one of the maps that was part of the recent TLMC. Shameless. What I expect from him, guys, is a lot of the stuff that I normally see out of him, and that is obviously 1 gate, fast expand, couple of adepts, Oracle, and from there on out, Blink Stalkers. Now he may switch it up a little bit throughout the series. He may have a spicy Resonating Glaive adept build. He may have a Zealot build. He's not much of a let me sit back and build carriers and Tempest kind of guy. He likes to be out. He is fast. He's young. He's full of life. You can pay some biddies for a bunch of chat effects. Is that new? Like, I've never seen this. It's a very beautiful effect. It's also a nice Twitch heart. It's my little trophy. I'll match you on that, Blink Templar. That is a promise, mate. I feel like if it happens, then we'll all have a very memorable night. Obviously, as a man of Basilisk and as a lover of Basilisk, I am never rooting against Basilisk players because that would make me a very bad team member. But you guys know that I'm a lover of the game, and I always encourage the youngsters and try to hype them up, try to get you guys excited over the youngsters. And I'm sure that Serral even has like a weak spot for these guys that came up a lot later when some of these big offline events were gone, and that they're still working so hard and they're improving. And that's obviously important for Serral as well, because he needs practice partners. And to see guys like GG Machine, Nikorok, Young Yakov, and Shameless get as much better as they have in the last 2 years, that's something, if you're a Starcraft fan, that you can only get excited over. First Adept has made it to the other side of the map. Shameless is checking. He's not going to be surprised to see that everything looks very normal on the side of Serral. Serral with a very quick Evo Chamber block to make sure that these Adept cannot maneuver itself between some mineral patches and saves the other drone. 2 Adepts. It is important for Yona to be on top of this. I hope he's not tired. Okay, Shameless with the juke does not let the Shade finish up. Perhaps out of respect. Sometimes what is important, guys, is that you don't play with too much respect. I'm sure that Shameless thinks incredibly highly of Serral, and he knows that this is going to be a mega difficult series, but it's also important to just believe in your moves and look for damage. Don't like stop yourself from committing thinking, oh, Serral always has the right answer, because he's Serral. Being too timid, too passive is probably not going to be a recipe for success. Maybe there was a tiny opportunity there for the Oracle, but Serral, his queen positioning so far is very close to perfect. Serral has not shown us a whole lot yet, just a couple of links and perfect queen positioning. This Oracle is going to go for it, activate Explosive Beam, only gets a single drone. Shameless does get a quick scout. The Serral is going up to 4 bases already, guys. 4 minutes and 30 seconds into Washout. Serral is going up to 4 bases, and this base is the Mega Base. Not 8, but 9 mineral patches, and 3 of them are a gold. I think Shameless knows that he can't really let Serral get away with that. As that is a famous quote of when Serral played me a long time ago on, I forgot the name of that map, but it had a gold in the bottom side. Do you actually believe in a Shameless victory? Now, if you're asking me as a StarCraft 2 expert who wins this, of course, Serral is supposed to win it, but I hope that it's a fun and exciting series, and I think it's really awesome that Shameless wanted this series. Shameless could have settled for a second match and get an easier opponent. The fact that he said, no, I want to try my luck against Serral, I think is amazing. I think he's really good, Shameless that is, but I don't think he's quite good enough yet to beat Serral in a best of 5. But I'm curious to see how well he matches up. So far, Serral's defense has been good, but I gotta give it to Shameless, right? No big arrows yet, keeps the oracles alive, all of them still relatively healthy, gets 4 drones. Can sort of work with that, is bulletproof at home with the adepts and the stalkers and the shield battery finishing up. Lara is done on the side of Serral and he's dropping the Hydralisk then. 5 worker lead for our Finnish Phenom. And Shameless actually going up to 4 bases as well. I kind of thought, after what he scouted early on and how quickly he scouted Serral going up to 4 bases, that maybe we would try to get, you know, a pylon and a gateway up on the top left side of the map and try to apply immense amount of Blink Stalker aggression, knowing that Serral's stack was going to be a bit later. But the Shameless decides to not go down that route. And he's just going to sit back, get +1, get Storm. At least I think it is going to be a nice game for our 19-year-old Russian Protoss to just kind of get settled and have a feel for what it's like to play against Iona in a big best of 5. A 7-minute lair on the way, guys, including a mega base. I am definitely a little concerned for Shameless in that regard, but he continues to look good here with the oracles, grabs 4 more drones, and 7 minutes in, guys, Shameless has killed 19 units, and he has not lost a single unit yet. Hasn't really committed, and he hasn't done critical damage to Serral at all, as Serral is really freaking rich. Like, this is an economy that's firing on all cylinders. 88 drones with some gold patches. These are the first resources that Shameless has lost. Nice blink. Cuts off the retreat path. Has to be careful here with the oracles. Are you sure you want to do this? He says yes. He gets in, kills a Hydra, kills a Queen, and gets out with all 3. Whew. I mean, Shameless is showing some courage here, guys. That's pretty big. 1 oracle survived with a 2 HP. A literal 2 HP oracle. Serral is already making his way towards lurkers. 4 of them are on the production tab. Now, since Hive has just finished up right now as we are speaking, he does not have seismic spines yet. He does not have adaptive talents yet. Here is our first lurker upgrade. It's going to take a little while. Is there a world where Shameless can cook here with some storms? He's going to see that these lurkers are ready. Drops the revelation. Drops the storm. He goes in deep. Shameless says, this is my moment, as he continues to drop storms. But lurkers are pretty freaking tanky. And these Zealots, they did not have charge yet. And Zealots without charge, it just takes forever before they get on anything. Shameless, careful with the High Templars. Maybe if he had Zealot charge there, he would have actually killed these lurkers a little bit quicker. We do have a tiny Zealot run-by happening on the top side of the map. But Iona's got a very well positioned spine. That's going to make it very difficult for the Zealots to get much done. I wonder, guys, if we have Zealots with charge there, do we get on top of perhaps just like the bottom 3 lurkers? This, and this. And then we can put our Blink Stalker High Templar army over here. Because it really is a war of positioning. If Serral, his lurkers are well burrowed, and Shameless has to attack into it, it becomes really difficult. But obviously, if Shameless's army is in a sweet spot and Serral has to unburrow the lurkers to move them into Shameless's army, it's also going to be difficult for Serral. Serral has done a great job in sneaking these units to the other side of the map. Few Lings have ran into the natural as well. There is a War Prism flying past his base on the right side of the map, but I guess this fight is slightly more important for now. Shameless is being very, very, very cautious. He has invested in the Fleet Beacon, he has invested in the first Tempest, and the Mothership is on the way, but he's going to have to get on top of his army. First big mistake by Shameless as 2 oracles fly head first into the Hydras. Detection is so important here. He's got 1 observer left, he's got 1 oracle left. Serral is 5 seconds away from having adaptive talents, as he's also applying pressure on the mega base of Shameless at the bottom side. There are 4 cannons, 2 batteries, and a mothership on the way. Shameless is sending it here as he's going to try to clean up these Hydras and Lurkers. He's storming his own units, he's dealing a lot of damage to his own units. And it's definitely hurting supply-wise. He still lives. Lives for now. Weathers the storm, even though he also took damage from storm. And that's not exactly why we go for the High Templars. Survives on 4 bases with 78 workers. Has lost more resources now in this game than Serral. Hello, Jeremy. Thank you, matey. 3 lurkers are going to run in as the doors are wide open, and there are a lot of lings storming in as well. These lings already have a Reynor glance. Immortal comes out at a very unfortunate moment, but maybe that solid warp in the mothership helping out. That's a good revelation. So important that lurker was revealed, otherwise life becomes annoying. It's actually pretty good defense here by Shameless, but the final few lings are still going strong. Do we have that observer left? We do, but it's in the middle of nowhere. And at this point, guys, Shameless just seems a little bit overwhelmed. As Shameless has no more map presence, there's absolutely nothing happening on Serral's side of the map. And he's kind of out positioned now, and he's going to have a really difficult time taking care of everything that Serral is rallying into that natural, and at the same time defending this base. But we need this base. This is the most important base for Shameless. Tempest count is getting up there. We've got 4 Tempests. A couple of big storms could go a long way. Serral is so quick. Serral gets his army in a position that he needs to get that army in. Kills the base, kills 20 probes, runs lings into the natural and into the main. And it's overall just looking very, very good here in the first game. His macro is always so good as well. Got his hands on another base. We even have a Shroud finishing up, or at least being researched. How many infestors do we have? 0 at the moment, but a few more on the way. 92 drones against 55 probes. Shameless had his moments, and perhaps there was slightly more potential here, but Serral only had 4 lurkers, but they were burrowed in a perfect spot. And from there on out, it just kind of feels that it was all Serral. Promising starter by Shameless. Definitely looked like the man had a plan in the first few minutes. Had some good Oracle movement, had good Adapt movement. Tempest will allow him to survive a little while longer, but after we lost the most important base, the base with the 9 mineral patches, it just kind of feels that we're surviving without any real hope. And Shameless knows that. It's just a matter of time before 20 Corruptors show up, a couple of Infestors as well. We'll lose the Tempest. There's just no way to win this game anymore. GG. 1-0 lead for Serral, but still felt it was a pretty good game by Shameless. Definitely at his moments. Serral looking sharp, and even though I don't think that he has played a lot of games on a map like Washout, very quickly realized that this is the opening that he wanted to go for. Early 4 hatches. Get his hands on the mega base and just take it from there. Yeah, maybe if charge is ready just like a few seconds quicker than that poke on the right side, where the lurker count at that point was 4, even if there were a few more on the way. Perhaps then he can get on top of the first 2-3 lurkers, and then he can just zone Serral out, drop storm after storm, maybe take out the hatchery and play the game from there. And then having the mothership on the way and the double Stargate Tempest production could have gone a long way. That was a fun first game. It's also impressive to see how quickly Serral seems to adjust to a map pool that I really don't think he has played a crazy amount of games on. He was not a part of the TLMC map making contest. It's probably a little too spread out for Yona. The only thing that apparently we hosted the wrong map again. The only thing that does worry me a tiny bit for Shameless is that this time a lot of the early game interactions, they worked out well. You know, we forced out some links, we kept track of everything, we took no damage at home, we kept the oracles alive, we found some damage. Most of the damage we found was a bit later, so it's less impactful. You're not always going to kill 9 drones without losing an oracle. So it is hard to get yourself in those situations against Serral. perhaps those are the ones you have to capitalize on. But I guess with, you know, the 9 mineral patch base, of which 3 are gold, I don't know, maybe things go a bit different. Let's see. Game 2 between these two will be played on a lockdown. We know lockdown, right? I've definitely casted a few games on lockdown. Yeah, okay. Yes, we know lockdown. Game 2, main event, Basilisk Big Brain Bouts number 115. Here we go.
Round 2, fight!
In the bottom left side, the man who wanted to challenge himself, did not want to play against a weaker opponent, said, let me try in the main event against Serral. 19 years old from Novosibirsk, it is Shameless. And in the top right side of lockdown, we are looking at the main base of the GOAT. He said he would get me a very nice birthday present for this matchmaking. And I was like, you know, your opponent is good. And he did give me a birthday present. I got an email from Steam saying that Serral gifted me the video game Peak. Thank you, Yona. I appreciate the birthday present. This is the Finnish phenom himself, Serral. Thank you, Tyke H, for the 5 gifted subbies. Milky Cow in there. Hello, Milky. Most certainly is, Zigga. My favorite day of the year. And it was also Beyond's birthday, but I believe that has already ended over in Korea. Then someone lied to me, Milky, because last week somebody said that Shameless was from his hometown. So, I apologize. Is he from Rostov-on-Don? Is it like that area? Or Sochi? I apologize. Who is it Art who's from Novosibirsk? Who's from Novosibirsk? You would kill for a Basilisk Team Peak stream? Well, you might be in for a treat one of these days. Your homies do Drunk Peak, and even if it's not my type of game, they seem to love it. I've never played, but I know that the other Basilisk boys have played. Novosibirsk is from Art. Okay, maybe I'm confusing the hometown of the Russian youngsters. So, okay. Art is from... and Art is also young. Your birthday is forever burned in my mind from the poker streams. Because I always play 8-5. 8-5 in Pocket Force. I actually didn't get a message from Nanonoko. I'm very upset. I was talking with Randy 2 days ago. As he was getting ready for a 30-hour journey. From Melbourne first to Latvia and then to Montenegro. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, on one hand I'm jealous, but on the other hand I'm not jealous. Because having to think of traveling for 30 hours. Once you're pushing 40, to quote Reynor. Anything past 20 is just kind of where I draw the line. Shameless's first adept with a defensive shade is taking a little sneak peek into the natural of Serral. I'd say it's important that he confirms there's a third hatch as well, even though maybe he feels that there is. He cancels this shade. That's very important. If he doesn't cancel this shade, these two links show up and you've got no DPS until the Oracle comes out or you're on the adept home, and yeah, you kind of hate life immediately. I can also, by the way, guys, do a little giveaway tonight. I have been trying to clean up the room in my house that I call the chair graveyard room, because at one point I had 4 gaming chairs in that room, and that was the only purpose of the room. But I found a couple of mouse pads that I've never used that are still new in the box, and also one that I think you guys will think is very cool, which I kind of like, but I'm also ready to give it away. It is a Starcraft 2 WCS mouse pad. And we'll do that during the later games. Obviously, all giveaways will be done in the Basilisk Discord as always. But we'll worry about that once these games are over. I don't want to miss potential greatness between Serral and Shameless's. And this was not the greatest Oracle entrance we've ever seen. I just received them, Bolla. You know, at one point it's like Max Nomic gives me a chair. Then I casted TSL during the pandemic, so I got a Team Liquid chair. Then I got another chair from Razor, Because they just reached out to me one day and they're like, we want to give you our gaming chair. And I was like, okay, awesome. Oh no, guys, this is exactly what I was talking about at the end of game 1. You're not always going to kill 9 drones without losing an oracle. That is a little messy, a little sloppy on the side of Shameless. Oracles are so incredibly important when you're playing as a man like Yona. That I sit very aggressively. I mean, one of them that I had for like legit many years looks a little bit worn out, but no, I didn't get kneel chairs because I needed them. It's just that people kept on giving me chairs. Yes. It's not about the chairs. It was about the mouse pads that we can give away. I actually had a Herman Miller. That was one of the other chairs that was in the room. But I sold that one. Because I bought that one. I didn't get it for free. Because at one point everyone was raving about the Herman Miller chairs. And I was like, okay, I'm a gamer. And I'm getting older. I need to take care of myself. Spent way too much money on it. And I just didn't like it. So after trying it for a little bit, I just put it in the chair graveyard room. Then I sold it. But basically the day that I put it on Marktplaats, which is the Dutch version of eBay, I sold it within a day. So I think I could have asked a little more. This guy was very eager to take over my chair. I think that's the one I had as well. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys have one or want one or love it. It's all personal in the end, guys, and it wasn't the chair for me. I sit like an orc. So Shameless lost one of the 3 oracles, but he still has a few adepts, and he's got 11 stalkers with blink. There is no robo, there is no forge. It is 8 gate blink stalker. This is kind of what I thought he might do on washout, because he saw how quickly Serral went up to 4 bases. Instead, he's going to do it here. Now blink is done, so he's not in too much danger. He can blink across the links, but we really don't want to lose too many stalkers, and I'm afraid we're already losing too many stalkers. The adepts, it seems like they got denied as well, as they just shaded into a couple of links and roaches. This is not the start that I think Shameless is looking for with this attack. But the good news for Shameless is that he's got blink stalkers, and blink stalkers have what we call micro potential. Super important to keep these oracles alive and not waste all the energy. Serral's going deep in a lot of his links. Stasis trappy. Traps like 6 or 7 links. No pun intended this time. Serral immediately turns around, thinking that little stalkers can't blink back yet. Seems like Shameless was very worried about a monstrous counter, so he has decided to send the oracles all the way home. That is not happening. Most of Serral's battle units are right here. Well timed. Shameless now realizing that he's going to bring the oracles back to the front. There are 10 Hydras on the production tab. Serral's definitely bleeding out a lot of units. That is a good stasis trap. It kind of feels that this might be the moment for Shameless. It is, I don't want to say now or never, but with this many links stuck in a stasis and the Hydra count is just climbing, we're going to need some very fancy, flashy, great, on-point blink stalker micro, and I think so far we are getting that. This is really good control by the young man out of Russia, but is it enough? Another stasis trap is going to continue to trap these links. It's good, but is it enough? Against Serral, often good is just not good enough. Things need to be perfect. Well, that's pretty freaking close to perfect. I mean, he's only down 3 workers. And it's not like Stalkers do that bad against a couple Hydras, but these Hydras do have +1 missile attacks. And that's obviously something that the Stalkers are not working with. But Serral is going to have a hard time eventually jumping on top of Stalkers. Once the Stalker ball gets so big that links just kind of die the moment they get in range. Oh, that is a misblink. That was a very unfortunate misblink by Shameless, and that's going to cost him 4 Stalkers. As the supplies were about to swing in his favor for the first time in a little while. Loses a couple Stalkers, but he's still chipping away at this Zerg army. And yes, the Hydra count has gone up. We've got 19 of them. Hydras don't have blink, and the Oracles are still here. Units lost resource step 30 against 128. Shameless trading 300 resources more efficiently as the corrosive ball just landed as I brought up the attack. He really wants this hatch. And I get it, and it feels like you're so close, but I also think you're so far when the Hydra count continues to go up. Oracles can't really participate in this fight, too much NTR. 25 Hydras against 35 Stalkers with blink, but no upgrades. Zealot Charge is close to finishing up as Shameless does have more supply. It's a 3-base all in. Already lost 26 Stalkers, and he's still looking at that low HP hatchery, and he wants that low HP hatchery. But I think what he wants the most is Serral to go forward and actually step into one of these stasis traps. Charge is about to finish up, so we could send a couple of zealots towards the top side. And I think at this point is going to be a relatively exposed base. Clearly, Serral needed every single unit that he could get his hands on. Shameless is going to surprise Serral, guys. He's just going to go for it, and then he's going to probably blink forward as well. Here we go, the full send. The full send on a couple of Hydras on the right side with all the blink stalkers. Some of the zealots are still bottled up. Oracles are going to try to join the fight as well. Can Shameless get one on the board here against Yona, who has gone up to Hive Tech, I believe, but maybe he has cancelled Hive. Shameless surprises Serral with a lot of zealots out of nowhere. The ultimate 3-base send of zealots with charge, stalkers with blink. And Shameless, after a lot of hard work, finally gets the hatchery that he was looking for. And now he's up 6 workers, but he's still down 2 upgrades, guys. Shameless has done a really good job, but he still needs to be a tiny bit cautious because these Hydras have +2 missile attacks. And with +2, they're going to shred through stalkers like no tomorrow. But there is not much to buffer for these Hydras. It's honestly still kind of close. Drones are going to get pulled. Shameless needs to be a tiny bit cautious. He does have 1100 gas in the bank. And the Templar Archives is about to finish up. Serral feels that he's forced to pull Queens to the front line as well. But those Queens will melt too. 117 supply apiece. I thought for a split second he might just go for Archons, but he's... I actually think Storm is indeed a better choice. Those Archons just melt. Let's double check. We had Hive on the way for a split second, but Hive got cancelled. 6 cent. I really love how this time we never second guessed ourselves. We just blinked to the right side, got on top of these 6 Hydras immediately, and that kind of opened the doors here for the Zealots. And what I also love, and this is something that you see go wrong all the time, is when he finally decided to bring the Oracles to the fight as well, he still kind of did a good job in babysitting them. I mean, they survived. They participated in the fight, but from a relatively safe pocket. Legitimately very well done. Serral does once more fire up Hive and has dropped the Lurker then too. But Shameless no longer is just working with gateway units, guys. Well, technically we're still working with just gateway units and those Oracles. But we've got a whole bunch of Storms. And that is something that Serral is not going to be very happy with. Here come the High Templars, and it's going to be one big storm party. Oracle's still going strong. A couple of Zealots were looking for a cancel, but this base has actually not been taken yet. I mean, Serral's still up 2 upgrades though. That is concerning on the side of Shameless. Especially if Serral can successfully make it up to Hive, as he does deal with these Zealots, so no damage to be found in the natural, and Shameless now realizing that going through the choke point is probably not going to be it. Ooh, these stalkers are getting very close. Wants to bring these 7 High Templars to the front line, wants to make progress, wants to get closer to this hatchery and to these drones. 5 Lurkers on the production tab. What a victory this would be for Serral, by the way. Serral still wins this, as he has taken a 30 supply lead, and he's also sending some units to the other side of the map. But Few of the High Templars do go down though, and they have not morphed into Archons. Probes are dying on the other side of the map. It's just a couple of roaches. But Lurkers are now done. Low eco on the side of Serral, but he does have Lurkers, he does have Hive. Oh, and Lurkers is so good against Stalkers and High Templars. They are so good. This would be not a good moment for Shameless to actually send a couple of Zealots to the right side. And right when I clicked on that hatchery, seems like we lost a couple Stalkers with a misblink. Oh, it's a great game. It's an even better game than the first one. 5 more Lurkers, 7 Lurkers at this point, and 2 more on the production tab. It is tough to clean up the creep when you don't have an observer. You want to use that Oracle energy for stasis traps and revelations on the army. But has cleaned up a little bit of creep at least. Serral, of course, does not have the same economy as the last game, so Shameless gets 4 10% of mothership out. That is very problematic for Serral and his current economy. And obviously Serral can always grow. I think the second blink forward that he did here was a bit ambitious. Underestimated, I think, the DPS of these Hydras with +2. And Serral now feels that it's his turn to have some fun. Nice stasis trap, but the Oracle does die. A lot of lurkers are going to burrow right on the edge. Ooh, that was a mistake by Shameless as the High Templars were a bit too clumped up. And he loses another one. Does not want to fight yet with just one Tempest and a Mothership on the production tab. Does have a little Zealot counter. Cannot move 6 or 7 High Templars clumped up in a ball forward into lurkers. If he wants to drop storms, oh, and he doesn't see this. Shameless is now falling apart a little bit. Perhaps he's trying to buy time for the Tempest, he's trying to buy time for the Mothership, but he's making some mistakes at this point. The biggest mistakes of the game. We are recalling something. Another High Templar gets sniped and another one gets sniped, but here comes the Mothership. There is one Overseer, the Overseer gets sniped. Serral no longer has detection, so now it is actually Serral who lacks detection. Great snipe on that Overseer on the side of Shameless. But he does still need to be very, very cautious. He lost a lot of expensive units. Serral does not have Hydra dash, right? No. These Hydras of Serral cannot dash. Serral decides to drop a Spire of 75 drones. We go for the Spire as he has successfully re-established his base. It's gonna be infuriating for Shameless that he was here with Zealots. There was no base, and then by the time that he tried again, there was an answer for it. Hello, non-inbound. Thank you, matey, for the 94 months. Half a year. You can be added to the Hall of Fame. Serral's gonna split up his army. Shameless keeps his army together. Not that many lurkers here. I feel like at first the frontline lurkers are disappearing. Time Warp gets dropped on the Hydra. Shameless does not want to turn around for that hit spot of Serral's units. Shameless just wants to battle the remaining units of Serral here. What's the Tempest count? 4. Nice storm on these Hydras. This is a very big army though. It seems like the Forge is going to fall. +2 is going to get denied. And Shameless is now in danger of losing his main, losing his natural. And just killing this base no longer good enough. Serral sniped an Observer, but there is another one. 50 army supply lead for Serral, but does he have enough anti-air? He's building 7 Hydras at a time. He's dealing crazy economic damage on the other side of the map. Shameless no longer has an answer for what Serral's throwing at him, and because Shameless is now distracted, defending at home, he loses the Tempest, and with that, he still loses game 2. But what a game it was. Serral takes the 2-0 lead, but what a game that was. Honestly, really sick gameplay, I think, on both sides. I love the aggression coming out of Shameless. I love the Zealot charge follow-up. I love when he decided to send it. I think he got too carried away in the center, really underestimating. Not that many Hydras anymore, but +2 Hydras on creep, Queen support, couple drones in the mix. That's just not a pleasant fight for 0-0 Stalkers. I think offensively Shameless looked really good, but defensively you could see that he made a few more errors than Serral. Like at one point moving that blob of High Templars forward, losing 3 of them, and then losing 2 more on the left side. Running the Stalkers into the Lurker that was burrowed away from the siege over at the 9 o'clock base. It just adds up, right? Just a few too many mistakes in the end. You know, even if it's maybe the scoreline that a lot of soccer fans and a lot of diehards would always expect, I feel Shameless is looking good in these games. I really don't think you can say that this is a total mismatch or that there was never any doubt. I think the kid played good. But he's going up against the very best. For some reason, one of my lights is... okay, here we go. No, that was very good, Blinkstock Micro. Trying to see what I can do. How does this look? It's a bit dark. Let's do it like this for a little bit. And game 3, potentially the last game of this edition of the Big Brain Bouts. If you guys love the Big Brain Bouts and love the chance to see Serral play a best of 5 every 3 weeks, or Trigger, or Reynor, make sure to show some love to my team. !Basilisk is the way to do that. You guys see links to Twitter. If you don't use Twitter, you might use YouTube. If you don't use that, you can always follow us on Insta, or join the Basilisk Discord, which is very appreciated. 115 Fridays. We gave out $500 to the video gamers to compete for. A lot of fun games to watch and a lot of happy gamers, which makes me happy. So you guys would make me very happy if you show some love to my team.
Round 3. Fight.
Potentially the last game of the Big Brain Bouts, but definitely not the last game on this channel, as we're gonna try to get into some birthday shenanigans on this Friday evening. Top left side of Rainfall, playing a good series, even though he's coming up short so far. I am definitely not disappointed by his effort. It is the Russian youngster, Shameless. None, as I would never bet Madhouse. On this kind of stuff, at least. Bottom right side of Rainfall, we are looking at the main base. If you're asking me for odds, like that's obviously something different. I think you can make that 750 to 1, 1000 to 1. I feel like those would be realistic odds for the reverse sweep. Bottom right side of Rainfall, we are looking at the main base of the GOAT, our Finnish phenom, Joona Sotala. Roddy, see me in MKX. What is MKX, mate? I don't know what the MKX is. Mortal Kombat? You want to play Mortal Kombat against me? I would not be very good in that, mate. Obviously played, I feel like Mortal Kombat 3 and 4 when I was young, if that is accurate. Played it on, I think, the Super Nintendo. I think I mostly played Mortal Kombat, whichever one came out on the Super Nintendo. That's the one that I played the most. But we're talking in the 90s. Every time. The rounds are... Yeah, some of my soundboard things are from Mortal Kombat or Unreal Tournament, but a lot of it is from Heroes of New Earth. Tag in Justin Wong. I think Justin is just very good in every fighting game. I know that he's mostly known for his legacy in Marvel vs. Capcom, but I don't think we can find a fighting game that Justin Wong is not going to be good at. At least not compared to the average fighting game enjoyer. Probably if he has never played, he's still going to be really good. I saw there is a Street Fighter movie coming out, right? Or is it a Mortal Kombat movie? I'm definitely watching that. They had movies in the 90s as well, and I had them both on VHS. A lot of you guys will probably not even know what a VHS is, but... And I watched them so often, like especially the Street Fighter one. I prefer that one over the Mortal Kombat one. But I watched both of them at least 3 times, but I think Street Fighter I probably watched like 10 times. I thought it was really cool. When I was a kid, I thought they were really cool. Alrighty, in game 3, winner of this best of 5 will walk away with 200 buckies on the Friday night. Serral has taken a 2-0 lead. That is obviously not going to surprise a lot of the diehard Starcraft fans, but I think the way we got there has been fun, has been interesting. It has definitely been worth watching, to put it like that. Yeah, that's how I see that movie as well, Geomotoko. Like, I watched it back like maybe a couple years ago and I was like, man, this is so bad, but it's actually still so good because it's so bad. But when I was a kid, I don't think I thought it was so good because it was so bad. I just thought it was that good. I was like seeing Ryu and Ken be brothers. I love that, man. Probably not today, Mixdo. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. But today, I plan on doing 39 ladder games to celebrate me turning 39. I'm 11 games in. Will I be able to do 28 games after casting these 3 best of 5s? I would bet against me, but there's nothing that a Roddy powered on some whiskey and a beer and a good mood can do, so we'll see how far we get. 28 to go. As the oracles of Shameless activate polls are being find a tiny opening. Serral's always so quick in setting things straight. Oh my goodness, that's unfortunate for Shameless. Very fortunate for Serral. Able to get a 4th hatchery down 4 minutes and 50 seconds into the game. No, I did 1 cannon rush already, Vodka, that was it. I said that was be the only one. Because obviously, like, it wouldn't be very challenging if you just go for 3-minute games, right? Somebody asked me earlier if I turn 80, if I will do 80 ladder games. I've had a lot of fun, guys, these last 14 years over at Twitch. But no, I will not be playing 80 ladder games when I'm 80 or 100 ladder games when I'm 100. I'd also be very impressed if the servers are still running at that point, but no. I don't even know if I will do 40 when I turn 40, so let's see how well we do today. Last year I couldn't celebrate my birthday on Twitch as I was on my way back then to Evo Japan. So I was all alone from the 7th to the 8th of May on a very long KLM flight from Amsterdam to Tokyo. Happy to be back home this year and just vibe, talk, yap, watch some games, play some games. I mean, next year maybe ruptured balls, but obviously 80 is never gonna happen. Serral is on 66 drones, and that is a magical number in the history of ZVP, as that is where they often just like to never look back and send it with dropper lords, queens, an autobahn, the German taxi, roaches, ravages, queens, and Shameless is going zealot charge, and that is just unfortunate. Zealot charge is really not that good against roach aggression. Ay. 4 oracles is obviously nice. Like, maybe there is a world where, you know, Serral runs out of anti-air, but does that world really exist? Shameless is up in workers, and that obviously looks good if Serral won't attack. But of course, Serral will attack. 5 hatcheries. We do have some High Templars warped in. +1 missile attacks and a crazy amount of roaches. Shameless should know, but at this point, even if you know, what do? The robotics facility is not done yet. These OVs will soon stop one by one, and they will just start dropping some creep to create a beautiful German autobahn. Cannons are going to be built, but I don't know if they're ever going to finish up in time. I do like the immediate counter, guys. It's kind of cute, just hoping to create some chaos. And it is more likely that Serral is going to make a mistake if you also apply some pressure on the other side of the map. But Yona is always on top of everything. Leaves a couple of roaches behind to deal with these zealots. And from here on out, it is all about this fight right here. I don't think the oracles can play much of a role. We are 10 seconds away from storm. We do have a little stasis trap. Not having blink here is going to be very painful. We're going to need the biggest storms, the juiciest storms. Storms that will last for its entirety over these roaches and ravages to have much of an impact. First one is decent. Obviously, these storms is lasting for as long as they do it. So, High Templar with a lot of energy is going to get sniped by roaches that come in from the right side. Those were roaches that were battling those zealots that were counterattacking. Not too many storms remaining. The Stalker is actually taking more damage from that storm than the roaches and the ravages did. That one cannon was very nice, but is eventually going to run out of steam. 2 of the 3 oracles are battling the queens. Finally, you have one Big Daddy Immortal as the probes get pulled as well. Shameless, perhaps his last hooray. Can he somehow hold? If he had blink here, guys, I would really be a bit of a believer. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get blink in time. One more very nice storm, to be fair, on the roaches and the ravages. But with the Immortal dying and all the High Templars falling, no more storms to fall back on. It seems like this is going to be the end. One good game, one amazing game, and the last one perhaps just didn't sell it well enough. GG. 8 minutes and 55 seconds. Serral is relentless with the roaches, ravages, the autobahn. And go back to the beginning. Thank you, Haruna, for the 48 months. Yeah. I mean, this is over. Maybe Shameless just hasn't played that many games yet on this map, and he didn't think of this being an Overlord pillar. The fact that he's gone 4 oracles maybe was already a bit of a tell for Serral, but warping in zealots here is not ideal. Flare done. Immediate Overlord speed on the way. +1 missile attacks. 66 rounds and we never look back. GG. Yona will pick up 200 buckies on this Friday evening, on this glorious day. And Shameless will still get 50 bucks for playing. I still really enjoyed the games. Obviously the last game, the shortest one, maybe a tiny bit less exciting. I thought the second one was amazing on both sides. I thought game 1 showed some good potential too. I thought it was an enjoyable watch. GG's. Thanks to everyone. We can take a little look at the entire night of results before I give myself 2 minutes and we continue our birthday shenanigans. This was Big Brain Bouts number 115. It started at 6 and it ends 10 minutes before 9. We had Mini Zerg and Reaper in what legitimately for the first time I think you could call a theoretical 5-0 for Reaper. Turned into a 3-2 victory for Mini Zerg. Reaper will be kicking himself a little bit for the way that those games played out, but it was a fun watch. We saw Fjant, the man who recently peaked over at the ladder, 6,200 MMR for the first time in his career. Take down Bly 3-1 in some fun ZVZs. And just now, in the Basilisk one, we saw Serral take down the man who made it to the grand finals of the Monday Night Weekly last Monday. That was Shameless. Serral 3, Shameless 0. But I still think it was a good watch. I think it was enjoyable, especially that second game. Very impressive on the side of Shameless. Very impressive on the side of Serral. No regrets, guys. And I think it's really cool that Shameless went for it. That he asked for this match. That he wanted to test himself. And we can always run it back 6 months from now. See how the games play out then, right? GG's.